In April 2017, Government of Uganda is expected to acquire 2 aircraft, which will be supplemented by another set in October at a total cost of $150 million. These are expected to revive the National Airline. The plan, which is spearheaded by the Uganda Development Corporation, if uninterrupted, will end a 15-year-long absence of a national carrier. President Yoweri Museveni affirmed the plan.
The NRM government has decided to start a national airline to stop the outflow of this money and to end travel inconveniences to Ugandans. We are now finalizing the modalities.
But why did Uganda Airline fail in the first place? One man who perhaps understands the skeletons in Uganda's airline industry is Benedict Mutiaba, who served as managing director of Uganda Airlines in 1993 to 1996 and corporate secretary hitherto.
The airline continued limping on, without enough aircraft, without modern aircraft, without enough capital, without modern aircraft. And then you have the perennial African problem of government trying to tell you what you should do.
The airline crushed under the weight of heavy debt. Currently, Ethiopian Airlines is the only success story in the continent, flying in an area where many have either attempted and failed or limping into insolvency.
And what Ethiopia has done is that first they have trust in their management because they know these are experienced people. 2, they understand that, for management to perform, they must be left on their own. Just tell them that these are the national objectives, and we want you actually to fulfill those objectives.
We need to review ways and means regularly of having systems improvement and have an airline that is managed initially by a company of international repute, so that we build internal capacity of Ugandans who will eventually take over after 3 to 5 years.
And yet, amidst a cutthroat competition for Uganda's airspace, the country is diving into an area deeply troubled with historical ghosts. There are currently 45 flights coming into Entebbe International Airport daily. Kenya Airways has the highest number of daily flights at 5, Rwandair at 4, while Ethiopian Airlines has 1 daily flight according to Civil Aviation Authority statistics.
We have an open skies policy, and these airlines are coming in, and they have the capacity to undercut you.
The debate here is national pride versus business viability.
My fear is that we have not planned well, because I thought that it has come from a pressure because Kenya has an airline.
Uganda now actually gets about 1 million people coming to Uganda as tourists. And many of them, I think, would prefer to get a first taste of the country when they haven't even reached, and the airline, gives them that.
In Rwanda's case, President Paul Kagame has previously said the purpose of Rwandair is not to make profits, but rather use it to market the country. In fact, the airline continues to rely on government subsidies.
In terms of how we manage to do it, yes, there is support from our government, there's no doubt, as our shareholder, but fact is that we have also been growing in terms of revenues and passengers that we carry. So it's both put together. There's always, of course, the shareholder is still with us until we break even.
If it takes off, Uganda's airline will face stiff competition from Kenya Airways, Rwandair, Ethiopian Airlines, Etihad, South African Airways, among others.
A profitable airline which fits within their national objectives, or are they doing it because someone else is doing it?
Uganda Airlines will also have to grapple with finding a competitive advantage. According to available statistics by the Civil Aviation Authority, there were 10,625 domestic passengers living in the country in 2014, compared to 12,164 local passengers coming into the country.
If we condition all government sectors and agencies to fly Air Uganda or whatever airline we have, that is a plus for us. That's the beginning chain.
We need to accelerate our integration for a number of reasons. One, it gives us scale. It allows us to build much bigger businesses. It allows us to be more efficient.
For it to succeed, Mike Mukula says government must be willing to meet its share of the bargain by reducing taxes.
If we have these incentives which are added to the airline setup, our national airline will be highly competitive, will grow, and we will now be able to develop a maintenance capacity, which is an advantage which would bleed the airline. If we have to fly an Embraer, or we have to fly a Bombardier aircraft, the CRJ 900 Generation Next, to Ethiopia for maintenance, or Kenya, those costs are high.
Unless a different development model is used for Uganda Airlines, at least initially, the taxpayer will have to pay for its existence. There are proposals to incorporate private partnerships to manage the airline. Whereas the national airline brings with it a sense of pride and some bragging rights, its economic viability and sustainability that will drain the country if political interference in its management is not checked. Sheila Nduhukire, NTV.